Hi, this is Nancy Rolfsma with On Point TV. I'm taking you through a few more of my favorite tools today. We've already done 4 of them with the mats, the rotary cutters, and some general tools. So if you haven't watched those, be sure you go back a little bit and see those. Today we're going to talk about my favorite marking tools, the things that I'm either marking on fabric or marking on my ruler with. We're going to start with one that is truly one of my favorites. This is the marking pen from Bohin. This pencil is a mechanical pencil. So when you're working with it, the lead is always going to be sharp. Now this has a 0.9 millimeter lead in it, so that makes it strong enough to not break too often, but fine enough to mark right next to the ruler. So when you're needing to make a mark, it's going to make a mark there. So there's my white mark. I'm not sure if you can see it from the camera angle, but trust me, it's very, very visible. Now they also have some other colors. So depending on what fabric you're using, they've got a pink lead, a green lead, the white lead, and it comes when you're buying the pencil, it comes with an extra white leads in it, and a graphite lead. So you're able to see on any color fabric that you're working on, that is going to wash out. Now you can use the eraser on the tip of it and it will erase it out, but I got to tell you truthfully, I never do it. I leave that there. When I wash the quilt, it will wash out. So I just usually leave it there until I'm done. The next thing is a friction pen. So these are friction pens. They were made for the office world. And the idea is that when you're writing with the friction pen and you're writing, let's see, on a piece of paper here, and you don't like what you wrote, it comes off with friction, and the friction creates heat. I don't know which genius quilter decided that that's a great idea. We need to have that, but they were genius, and I love these things. So with the friction pen, this is the clicker. I like the clicker because then you don't take off a cap, and what am I going to do with the cap? Lose it, of course. Comes in a lot of different colors, and with it, you're marking on your fabric. You can see it very, very clearly, and then you take it to your iron and it makes it disappear. So it's fabulous. It's marked, it's clear, but 2 things you got to keep track of. If you're marking on a fabric that you're going to press before you do the quilting, it's going to disappear. So you need to know when you're marking that it's not going to be pressed until you're done. The second thing is there is a little bit of controversy out there as to whether or not if I take this piece of fabric and put it in the freezer that it will reappear. I don't store my fabric in the freezer, so I'm not really worried about that. But what if I take a quilt to a stadium and it's really, really cold outside? That's okay. When you bring it back into the house, it'll disappear in the warm, or if you had to, you could re-iron it. I have never had it come back on me, whether or not I've washed my quilt or not washed my quilt, and I live in Michigan, so it gets cold here too. So just letting you know, there are people that are not happy, and the other thing is because it's not been around for a while, they're thinking that maybe it's going to affect the quilts in the long run. I'm willing to risk it. It's good enough that it marks so fabulously that I'm willing to risk it, that if the mark is there, that it might stay there. So you've got to make your own call on that. Another one that's one of my favorite is going to be a Mark Be Gone. There's a lot of different brands of this, and I've never found one that I didn't like. I believe this one comes from Dritz. This one has a hard tip on it. Again, can go right next to the ruler. I like a pencil or a pen that you can mark right next to the ruler. There's also one that's a felt tip, and I like that one because with that you get a little bit of a bigger mark, but when I started using it was when I used to do long arm quilting. So while the quilt was on the rack, I could take that felt tip and draw a design on it, and then when I was done quilting whatever I was going to quilt, I'd use a spray bottle of water, just spray over the top of it, go away, go do something else. When I came back and it was dry, the blue was gone. So with the water erasable, you're going to use water, so I got a little bit of water here. And so I can just dab this out, but better yet is just to wait until the quilt is done, finished, and then when you wash it, it's going to go away. So you can spray a little water on it. Now, again, there's always that little bit of controversy. Some people worry that if they press it, it's going to become permanent. I've never found that to be a problem, but then again, I'm usually removing it before I'm pressing. So that's just a concern. Don't press the blue until you've removed it, all right? The last marking tool is not for marking on fabric, but is instead for marking on my rulers. If you've ever watched any of the videos, especially when I'm doing power cutting, I'm always going to use this. This is the Omni Grid Glow Tape. 3 colors come in one package, so it's a really, really good deal. I can't remember if I've ever actually gone through an entire roll of these. I probably would lose the roll before I would get to the bottom of the roll. They last a really long time, and the idea is that you put it anywhere on your ruler that you need the marks, and it's going to come right up. It doesn't leave any residue on your ruler. So that's the Omni Grid Glow Tape, and those 3 colors come in one pack, so you don't even have to pick your color. So those are a few of my favorite marking tools. I hope you like this. I hope it was educational, maybe tools that you've never used before. We'll be doing a couple of more favorite things for my tools coming up, so be sure you catch those also. If you like the video, be sure you give it a thumbs up. Please follow us, subscribe to the channel, hit that little notifications button so that you'll get a little ding on your phone when we happen to be going with a new video, or we might be going live. And if you have any questions, you can contact me at quiltingwithnancy@gmail.com.